Alrighty, folks, we are at the current job site. We took down a carport here last week. One of those kind of lightweight metal buildings, if you will. Metal roofs anyway. There used to be a travel trailer here, and what we're going to be building is a metal building here, and then eventually we'll have this graded, and we're going to be forming it today and getting ready for a concrete pad. The sewage that he had here for his travel trailer is going to be moved, so that will be coming out. We've also got some pins here from the old metal building that was keeping it anchored to the ground. We've got to pull these. We've had so much rain, we might not be able to do any grading work or leveling work today, but we have the excavator. We'll be unloading that in some forms and so forth so that we can at least get our measurements and so forth, and then we're going to go from there. But that's what this project is. And this is going to be, how big a building in? 30 by 40, Josh?
30 by 40 pole barn.
Pole barn, yep. And it's basically a metal building, right?
Basically a metal building. It's a pole structure, so there'll be 6 by 6s. That'll be the main structure with purlins in between and the metal attached to that. Okay.
And today we're looking at just forming work.
I don't know how much forming we'll get done because it's kind of wet and muddy.
Yeah.
But we're definitely going to get the forms unloaded. We're going to get batter boards up, get it laid out, get it squared up. There'll be a batter board back here, 30 feet back from where we're going to start. We're going to start the building 4 feet off the center of that ditch.
Okay, that's right.
From that ditch, we got to come back 34 feet.
34 feet.
Pretty much, which is going to put us back here somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah.
And we're going to move this river gravel out of the way.
And you said this stuff comes up out of Tennessee?
Yeah, he imported this for that riverbed, that creek bed on the other side.
On the other side of this building over to behind us. And then we're pulling up these anchors.
We're going to pull these anchors out today. They're probably 2 to 3 feet long and have a big 6-inch like screw head on the bottom. We'll hook a chain to them, pull them out of the way, and we're going to relocate that 4-inch RV drain
right
over to here in this back corner. And just kind of getting rolling, getting mobilized today.
How much rain do we think we got up here?
Over the weekend, we probably got at least 3 inches.
3?
Yeah, it rained pretty hard on me.
I know it was an inch on Saturday.
Yeah.
And an inch on Sunday.
Yeah.
Down at my place. So, alrighty, well, folks, we'll come back when we have some updates and we've made some progress. So you get about 4 of these eye bolts on each side, something like that. And Josh is just going to put a chain around it, use the bucket on the excavator to remove them. Yeah, they recommended those for the solar panels. If you're mounting them to the ground.
exactly.
Just like that. All right, Josh, we've laid out these 4 pins, and we're using these for getting our batter boards close.
Yeah, these are going to be our 4 corners. Just a preliminary rough idea where we're going to be, and I put these in to get a square before we put our batter boards up.
And our measurements were within, you eyeballed it, and our measurements were within an inch?
Within an inch of being square.
That's
But keep in mind, I've laid out hundreds and hundreds of buildings and houses, and maybe in the thousands.
Don't mind the noise, folks. We're going to have a freeze tonight, probably the last one of the year, and it is misting, and these roads are going to be just black ice. But yeah, we've got these pins out now. So we have a rough idea of where our batter boards are going to be, and we lay out our strings and so forth. So when we come back, we'll probably talk more about the strings.
Well, the next step is we're going to set the laser up.
Oh, that's right.
Finished floor is
we'll talk about the laser a little bit.
We're going to get the laser set up right here in the middle. We're going to establish some kind of finished floor. I'm shooting for about 4 inches above this existing gravel.
Right.
We're going to shoot a couple spots and see where we're at.
Because you're going to have to pull dirt in over where this river walk is. We got to move the river walk out, and then you got to pull dirt probably from this bank over here.
Yeah, so there's a swale right here that you can see coming off this corner of the driveway.
See that hump, folks?
And it's trying to catch the water. Which they have this ditch here and this culvert pipe for that.
Yeah. But also to help in erosion.
Eventually filling that swale in. Making this a 30-foot wide driveway from this gravel bed to that gravel bed up there.
Okay.
Then we're going to redig that swale from where that 30-foot line meets the existing driveway and run it down over that way. So that the water coming off the road still goes around.
Right.
The water that lands below the swale will come here. And that way there won't be a swale in the middle of the driveway.
So we're moving that swale further up the hill, closer to the entrance.
I can see that where that stake there is high.
Yeah, it is.
So we're going to have to cut some of that dirt, and we'll take some of that dirt and we'll fill this back here. But looking at the grade now, the carport's out of the way and everything.
Right.
You know, we're doing a 12-inch thick monolithic slab here with 12-inch footings. I bet you in the back it's just going to be about 16 inches down to the virgin soil. And that's what we're going to go with. I'm not going to build that up 4 inches and pour on top of 4 inches of
You want
soil.
virgin whenever you can, don't you?
We're just going to go down deeper to the virgin soil, 16 inches or whatever it takes. It's not going to be that deep over there. It's not that bad.
Right.
So this will have a 1 foot thick, 2 foot wide footing all the way around the monolithic slab.
And for our audience that might be new to concrete, a monolithic slab is where the footers and the pad are all one piece.
All one piece.
And it also prevents the slab from shifting.
It actually helps disperse some of the weight from the footing across the whole slab. More like a snowshoe effect. Rather than the footing being just on the perimeter and that holding the weight of the building on the perimeter and then the slab being poured independently, the slab and the footing are all one piece and the weight is distributed across the whole thing, even though the only load that's going to be bearing is going to be on the perimeter.
Right. But that's where most of your concrete is, and it's deeper concrete.
It's deeper, thicker concrete. Then it'll step up to the 4-inch slab.
Right.
But there'll be rebar coming out of the footing going into that slab, so it does disperse the weight across the whole entire thing instead of point loading it just on the footing.
Okay. All right. Well, folks, we'll come back when we got something new. All right. So Josh is moving some of this river rock, and we're from the Tennessee line. We're about 70 miles, so maybe not that far, but in any event, this is used in several projects in the area, but a lot of times you'll see this for drainage situations, but this is not good to build on. So Josh is going to move the majority of this and kind of get it out of the way. Because it's so wet, he can't just push it with the equipment that we have, so he's going to move it a little bit at a time and get it out of our way. Eventually we're going to have gravel, and we're going to fill this area in with dirt first, proper dirt from this area that will compact better. Then gravel will go on top of that. So that's what we're doing at the moment. We've also laid out our batter boards and some of the stakes we're going to use for the lines at each of the pins that we put into the ground. And the pins had to be close, but once we start putting up our lines, they're going to be exact. You'll do, you know, from here to there, from here to there, and from here diagonally across, and they have to be exact, usually within 1/4 of an inch, but exact would be great. So that's what we'll be doing a little bit later. So Josh will continue to move the river rock, and we'll come back. Alrighty, Josh, what are we setting up here?
The laser level. This is going to help us establish our grade here. It shoots a level line 360 degrees all the way around it.
It spins, doesn't it?
It spins, and it'll shoot at 500 feet in each direction.
Cool.
So you can get 1,000. You can get 1,000 feet with this. Not that I would ever shoot it 1,000 feet in a straight line.
Right.
But I would easily go 250 feet away from it, any direction.
Right.
And be comfortable.
250. That's pretty good.
Yeah. And I've recently set it up and calibrated it, and it's good to go.
Is the calibration difficult, or?
No, it's not difficult at all. What you want to do is just find an established point. So I used a telephone pole, and I got about 150 feet away from that telephone pole and put a mark on it. Then I set my laser up, and I got my beeper, and I shot that mark. Then I came back to the machine, and I rotated the machine 180 degrees and made sure I was still hitting that same mark. And then I set it up again 90 degrees off, and then set it 180 degrees off of that.
Right.
To make sure that at 360 degrees, I'm hitting that exact mark that's not moving. And since it was a telephone pole,
right,
there's no way it's moving.
No way it's moving.
Yeah.
You need a good fixed point.
Yeah, it's all in the instructional manual there, right? Just how to do it.
RTFM, as they like to say.
Yeah, yeah.
So Josh is going to go plug this in. He's got an outlet in the truck. Normally this has a battery. And we'll find out why we're using the electrical today instead of the battery. Or maybe we're charging the battery. So we're plugging it in, why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because I don't like buying batteries all the time. It runs on 4D batteries.
Okay, so it doesn't have a built-in lithium or anything like that.
It takes 4D batteries that plug in. It does have to be leveled up yet. It's not level yet. So there's these legs on it here.
Right.
That you adjust.
You're looking at this bubble.
I'm looking at this
here.
bubble on this side over here on my left.
Yeah.
I'm getting it centered.
Another bubble here.
And then I'll get this bubble.
You just see his bubble moved.
Come back to that one.
Coming back.
The newer versions of these are auto leveling.
Oh, nice.
Which are quick and easy, but I don't think they leave some room for error. If you just always set up and self-level it and it gets off, you don't know.
So we got a level there. And we're levelish there. And the spinny part is in there. And for you guys who do concrete all the time, this is all stuff you know, but for our new folks, And this is
away.
the Spectraphysics EL1 electronic level. Now Josh is going to get a board that he can attach the sounder on, or the what do you call that piece in your hand?
This is the beeper.
The beeper.
It runs on a 9-volt battery.
Okay. Excuse me.
It occasionally has a short, and I've got to get in here.
I don't like shorts.
As always, electronic stuff. Of course, since you're filming, it's going to be an extra pain in my butt.
Yeah, of course. It's like anytime I do a demonstration in my business as well. All right, Josh, I think we finally have the beeper working with a proper battery and making sure the wiring is working as well. So what you have on this, folks, is a beeper, and it's got an arrow in the window, and it's going to let you know if you're high or low compared to where the laser is. And what we want to do is we want to set this at a height when it's that constant beeping, that means that we're level. But in this case, you look at your arrow, we're a little bit high. That's way high in there. So what Josh is doing is he's leaning the stick to get the beeper lower so that it can actually see the laser. This will be low. See, right there's level with where the beeper is with the laser. Yep.
I'm going to do is go about 4 inches above that spot.
4 inches above where the laser is?
Yeah, so to
Yep.
do that, I've got to go down 4 inches.
So we're going down 4 inches on our stick here. He's marked that by just putting a mark in the wood. It's wet. There we go. So
Let me go a couple more inches. Otherwise, I'm going to have to really cut all this out.
way down, yeah. And when you hear it really beat fast like that, you're close. There it is.
Wow. All right, I'm going to have to bring the machine over here and dig that out.
Oh, okay. So we'll be back in a little bit. Looks like we've just got way too much dirt over here, and that's not going to help us when we start stringing up our lines. All right, so we've got our stakes in the ground, which we'll start attaching our boards to. Josh is going to fire up the laser again, and that will give us an indication of where our boards need to be. And that line that you're showing there is going to be the top of the board?
Top of 2x4.
Top of 2x4 there. We'll do one more on this end, and then that will give us this particular board. All right, he's going to go measure this third one, and then I'll screw them on.
Okay.
And then it'll be rinse and repeat. Josh, so we've got up these batter boards, and those boards with your beeper should be right on the laser, because we've measured that off camera, and that came out nice. All right,
These are finished floor.
Finished floor.
Top of batter board is finished floor. Top of slab.
Okay. So we still got a little bit of too much dirt in and around our stake here, so Josh is going to excavate just a little bit around it. But you can see we've got our batter board on the far corner, one over here. And those of you, if you look at that, you can see the batter boards on the left are much higher seemingly. And that's just because the ground drifts away. And same over here. But the top of these boards, the batter boards that we're putting up are in fact, what would you call that again? What's the technical term, Josh?
Finished floor. Finished
floor. So, all right, one more to go. We'll be back.
I've got plenty to put back there.
Yeah. A lot of this dirt that he's clearing out right now, and for this corner, because this is high, is going to go down here where it's low. So alrighty, well, we'll dig this up and we'll come back. We need to be down on this end, or? Oh, we're good there.
I think it's this end here. It's a little high. Take this one screw out of your stake.
Okay. All right, so you feel good about where the batter boards are?
Everything checks out perfect. Everything's good enough level.
So we don't need the laser at this point.
No, I'm putting it away. This is a very expensive piece of equipment, and I have seen these things get destroyed. I myself have destroyed one.
How'd you do that?
Instead of having it set up on the tripod like I did, there was a head wall, a concrete head wall. I'm making a move. It's nice and solid.
Yeah.
So I just set it up on the head wall.
Right.
And was digging away with my shovel. Knocked it off the head wall with the shovel. It fell 5 feet onto the concrete pad below. Exploded. Batteries went flying everywhere. Rolled off into the water, and you know. I did bring it into the shop in the afternoon and told the owner, "Hey, I destroyed the laser."
Right.
He gave me a raise. He gave me a raise for being honest, because most people would have just put it on the shelf and not said a word.
Not said a word. All right, folks, we're putting the laser away. Can't believe how happy I am to hear about that, so we'll come back in a bit. So Josh is having to continue to remove some of that dirt. It's just too high, and we want to make sure that we can get down to the batter boards with where top of concrete's going to be. So in any event, a little bit more excavation work. We've set up the batter boards. We've also strengthened a few of these, and we'll come back as we continue to lay out some of the string. We've got some of the string now, as you can see, that yellow orange line right there attached, and it's attached on the other end and one corner. We still got half of the building to do. And now we're pushing some of the dirt that he's liberated where we know we have a low spot. All right, so you can see what Josh has done thus far. It's taken about 15 minutes, and he's using the excavator and the small shovel on the front. Not the shovel, but the push. It has a better name. But you can see he is starting to add dirt over here once we got rid of the river walk. That's going to be within the perimeter of our lines here. You can see the orange lines that intersect at our stakes, and then we're going to further get our dimensions once this dirt's in place, and you can see him pushing it here. And this is coming off of that hill over there that's high, and we're pretty sure we were going to have to take some dirt from over there and bring it in over here. And then he's going to push this forward until he really gets into this corner good. We still need a lot of dirt here, but it's getting it out of where we don't want it and moving it to where we want it. So just a little bit of work. Without the excavator, of course, this would be a lot of work for a bunch of people in wheelbarrows to make it happen. So this short amount of time, it's not quite as hard on us. Certainly not as hard on me. I may be doing a lot of the camera work here, but I'm in the scenes. I'm working in the background as hard as I can, but Josh runs circles around everybody. So, alrighty, we'll come back once we've got more of this dirt put in place. All right, Josh, we got our string lines measured, and how accurate were the strings?
Very.
Like spot.
Like spot on, yeah.
Spot on. And we were just saying off screen this sewage.
It's a clean out for
a travel trailer.
Yeah.
We're moving that here to the corner,
yeah,
because the toilet or bathroom is going to be over here.
Future
toilet over here. So we still got to move that. We still have quite a bit of dirt to move on the sides, don't we?
Yeah,
we got to fill that in.
Some more dirt to the back. We got to move that pile of clay and gravel yet. And there's still a lot of dirt on that high side.
Right.
I really need that side sloping away.
Away, yeah. That's a lot.
Yeah, so there's still enough yardage of dirt there that once I move this pile far enough over, and the dump trailer may come in handy for that, Brian. I could probably still park the dump trailer down there.
Right, once you move this
trailer, move that pile far enough over there and dump it.
Right.
And it really needs to be rained on for a long time to wash all. There's a lot of very expensive rock in there that you can't see because of all the dirt. So if I make a pile and it gets rained on, he can go over there and pick what's off the top. And the next time it rains, there'll be more on the top.
It's like finding arrowheads in a field sometimes. Yeah. But you're happy with the string layout?
Oh yeah, I'm happy with the layout. I'm happy with the final grade, and everything looks good right now. We're going to call it a day and go take care of some other errands that we need to do, and we'll be back tomorrow with more forms.
Right, we're doing forms tomorrow, and we've got to dig our footers, don't we?
Yeah, but I'll do that with the machine.
Right, and that dirt will add over here.
Back here too.
Yeah, so we got a lot of dirt to free up just digging the footers underneath the string, or not underneath, but to the inside of the string, all the way around. Except for this side and over there in the corner.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, for day one, so to speak, we didn't show you the carport removal, but that happened first, actually. You happy?
Thrilled.
Alrighty. Send us out.
Odd Jobs Hijinks.